Hello and welcome to the weekly Kashmir University video digest Quest. Dear viewers, on October 26, a massive earthquake measuring 7.5 on the Richter scale with epicenter at Hindu Kush hit Kashmir Valley. Fortunately, no serious damage took place. Reportedly, 2 women died of cardiac arrest, but overall, there was no devastation. Thankfully, all the employees of the Kashmir University are safe and the university buildings and infrastructure suffered no major damage. Let's now begin the program with a look at the highlights of this episode. 3-day seminar on Reshi and Sufi traditions commences. Debate on reservation held. And we also have some important notices of the university. Now the details of all these events with your host Nisar Dharma. The Center for Central Asian Studies organized a 3-day international seminar on Reshi Sufi traditions. The inaugural function was held in collaboration with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations and J&K Academy of Art, Culture and Languages. Governor and the Chancellor of the University, Mr. Narendranath Vohra, was the chief guest. CCAS Director Professor G.N. Khaki presented the welcome address.
14th and 15th centuries, in fact, constitute one of the prominent and formative phases in the history of Kashmir, as it accommodated for momentous religious and cultural diversities. Its illustrious sons, literateurs, scholars like Rishis and Sufis. In the backdrop of these secular credentials of Rishis and Sufis, Sheikh Sadi Shirazi has rightly said, Bani Adam azai yak digaran, ke dar afarinas zi yak jawharan, ki uzve badard awarad, rozgar, digar uzuhara naman karar. All human beings are organs of one body. When one is afflicted with pain, others can't rest in peace. Sheikh Muhyiddin Chasti Rahmatullah alayhi said, Resh bash nesh mabash. Be bound to the wounds. Don't carve out the wounds. So Ibn al-Arabi, make love the basis of all religions, while destroying all other barriers.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Khurshid Iqbal Andrabi, said on the occasion that traditions play an important role in forming societal identity.
Ladies and gentlemen, traditions evolve out of innocent practices that find acceptability in a larger section of the society, sometimes so powerful that they become symbol of the societal identity. The origin of such traditions may have absolutely nothing to do with logic or faith, but have an overwhelming appeal to put individual explanations or faiths on the back burner. Kashmir, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps presents the best example of such accommodative and tolerant culture that makes all individual faiths and logics proud.
Deliberating on Kashmiriyat, Professor Andrabi said that Sufi traditions always emphasize on religious harmony and simplicity.
Kashmiriyat, as it has come to be known, is a blend of Islamic way of tolerance and Hindu way of accommodation. Regardless of whether it emerged as a deviation from the Islamic teaching of Ashab-i Suhuf or came through as an offshoot of Rishi order, Kashmiriyat has accordingly assimilated collective contributions from Sufi orders like Sohrawardis, Kubravis, Naqshbandis, and Qadiris that arrived in Kashmir from Persia, Central Asia, and Rishi order that evolved in the valley itself indigenously in the beginning of the 15th century. Sufi saints didn't necessarily advocate any dramatic, traditional, or cultural deviation. Kashmiris were permeated with through Hindu or Buddhist teachings. Therefore, integration and mutual acceptance, as opposed to seclusion, prevailed in the tradition such that Sufis and Rishis became more or less synonymous.
Governor and the Chancellor, Mr. N.N. Vohra, while calling for reviving the Reshi Sufi traditions, said that old links will enable people to play a vital role in promoting interfaith dialogue and discussions.
This part of the Himalayan region has been home to renowned saints, monks, peers who came to Kashmir from various parts of our country and from abroad. And over the years, Kashmir became known as the Garden of Saints in the valley of Rishis and Peers. This symposium being held at a time when, in the name of religion, the world is being torn apart by radical and fundamental ideologies. Conflicts are taking place in many parts of the world. Terrorist violence has emerged as an international phenomenon. The values of tolerance, communal harmony, and brotherhood have been severely eroded, and the world at large appears disinclined. If peace and normalcy is to be restored, and humanity is to remain civilized, radical ideologies shall have to be denounced, and collective efforts shall need to be made to revive the centuries-old traditions of tolerance and brotherhood.
The Chancellor opined that the shared traditions of the past have played an important role in preserving the communal harmony among various communities.
The fact that the people of Kashmir are still devoted to the belief systems which emanate from the Reshi Sufi traditions is evidenced by the admirable existence of a very large number of shrines in the valley and elsewhere in the state, which attract devotees not only from amongst the Hindus and Muslims, but from all other communities and from all over the country. These shared traditions have proven to be crucial for promoting lasting connectivities and close understandings across the communities.
Director General ICCR Mr. C. Rajashekhar and Academic Coordinator of ICCR Ms. Kamna Prasad also spoke on the occasion.
This Hamiyast International Symposium is a small attempt on the part of the ICCR, Indian Council for Cultural Relations, to showcase and to celebrate the intangible heritage that we're all proud to inherit, to bring together scholars to explore those traditions and their composite roots and to explore their contemporary relevance and to find the way forward in these troubled times. This symposium provides us an opportunity to rediscover, to reconnect, especially for the benefit of the contemporary society and the future generations.
Over the next 2 days, Hamiyast aims to discuss and showcase the Sufi way of life with a special emphasis on its global cross-cultural connect, its common base in India's secular syncretic ideals of Qaumi Yakjehti or universal brotherhood and Kashmir's unique Rishi Sufi traditions.
Associate Professor CCAS Dr. Tariq Ahmed Rathar proposed a vote of thanks.
Sir, we are beholden to you from the deeps of our being. I take this opportunity to thank Ms. Kamna Prasad ji. We are grateful to Professor Khurshid Iqbal Indrabi, Honorable Vice Chancellor of University, for presiding over the inaugural function.
The Department of Law held a debating competition on reservation versus merit. Head and Dean Law, Professor Muhammad Ayub, presented a welcome address.
The Department of Law has been organizing wide varieties of debates, especially through the aegis of the Law Society. The basic object of holding this debate is to develop the skills amongst especially the law students, because ultimately, professionally, a law student is dependent upon the level of excellence he or she achieves in oral communication.
After the welcome address, students started debating on reservation. Here are a few glimpses of this debating competition.
According to Mandel Committee report, 54% of the nation's population, excluding SCs and STs, are backward. The Commission identified 3,743 castes. These are the people living in vicious circle of poverty, degradation, powerlessness. Father is a bonded laborer. Son too would be forced into bonded labor. Mother is forced into prostitution. Daughter too would meet the same fate. A life with no future, no dreams.
The benefits of reservation are availed by those who don't need it. The worst part is that section of the society is taking advantage who is already doing the good. They don't need reservation, but instead they go for reservation and create so much of mess in the system of reservation.
The primary stated objective of the Indian reservation system is to increase the opportunities and enhance social, economic, and educational status of underprivileged communities and thus enable them to take their place in the mainstream Indian society.
It said that caste-based reservation is a disease, caste-based reservation is a medicine. As soon as the disease is cured, there will be no need for remedy.
Reservation is not to be construed in a narrow sense, but must include respect, opportunities, and choices for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, minorities, women.
The state must not only treat people equally, but it must also take some positive steps to remove the existing inequalities, especially those inequalities which treat human beings less than human beings.
There are the constitutional provisions which makes mandatory on the state to make such legislations for the upliftment of the social castes, social tribes, and other backward classes.
Friends, first of all, let's understand that the reservation system leads to nothing but only inequality, which ultimately paves way for chaos, confusion, tensions, conflicts, and discriminations between different sections of the society.
That reservations should not act as a silver spoons that will feed throughout the life.
Reservation is based on something on the principle of quantity. It's never based on the principle of quality.
Availing the continuous benefit under this category has diminished and destroyed the bright career of many youth who, in spite of the fact having good merit, fall prey to the reservation policy.
At the end of debating competition, Assistant Professor Dr. Fareed Ahmed Rafiqi said that law has played an important role in institutionalizing the working of society.
As a matter of fact, the Law Society has been here for the last, I would say, 1 decade or so. There has already been a very bright past, but what was needed was to institutionalize the working of the Law Society. At the very instance, what we have done, we have made it most representative body in our department, because every semester is duly represented, not only the LLB first semester to the last semester, but BLLB first semester to last semester. Everybody, every person is represented here. So this is actually the true representative body of our department.
Chief guest of the function, Justice Retired Bashir Ahmed Kirmani, told students about the haves and have-nots that are present in the society.
There are chances in every society that a particular group in this society, a particular class in this society, it races faster than the remaining part. With the result, it becomes the creamy layer, it becomes the class who have everything, haves. And there are other people who don't have that much or who don't have anything at all, as they call them, have-nots. So in every society, there are always these two classes which are a creation of the history by itself, that in this thesis and antithesis. So in this historic march, there are always in every society, you have certain groups which are ahead of others, and there are certain groups which march backward, who don't have anything, who don't have sufficient means. This situation, when it's governed by a setup, by a ruling elite, or by a political class, who are not very concerned about equality in the subjects, they do not mind much for it. But when such a political class comes into being, comes to rule, who are concerned with equality among the subjects, equality of citizens, therefrom this concept of reservation takes its birth.
Justice Kirmani advised students that they should have a proper understanding of life in order to come out of this debate of merit versus reservation.
If we have a theme of life, then this merit and reservation debate will not arise at all. Because a person who claims he is meritorious, he may if there is a theme of life, he may sacrifice or he may offer to join his sheet with a person who is not, whom he feels is not meritorious, but who deserves at the same time to be along his side. That you can cultivate in the human beings only through an idea of life. Idea you are not giving, you are providing opportunities to a particularly defined class, and you are excluding those who don't come within that very small, very narrow, very limited definition. So this question of this reservation and meritocracy and that there's an idiosyncrasy, this will always continue to rise, as long as we don't go to a central idea, to a theme of life, which has a natural solution for all these.
Assistant Professor Dr. Syed Asima Rifai proposed a vote of thanks.
Let me express our sincere gratitude and appreciation to the guest of honor, Honorable Justice B.A. Kirmani, Member, State Accountability Commission, Jammu and Kashmir. I also express my gratitude to panel of judges, Professor Farooq Ahmed Masoodi, Professor Bashir Ahmed Janai, who have raised this occasion with their presence here today.
Now some important announcements. The walk-in interview for the post of Production Assistant in EMMRC will be held on November 2 in the Office of Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences. The last date for receipt of online application forms for admission to B.Ed course session 2015-16 through private colleges is extended to 10th of November 2015. The date for completion of admission formalities for the candidates who have been selected for admission to various programs through distance mode has been extended to November 2. To know more about these events, log on to kashmiruniversity.ac.in or kashmiruniversity.net. With this, we come to the end of our today's program. In case you have missed some part of Quest, log on to our website, emmrckashmir.com, where you can watch it. Send us your suggestions at our email address, quest@emmrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone. And if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom. For it is only when he is alone that he is really free.